Hello, my name is Joseph Flack, and I am going to be opening up Build 68 here and going through the minimal work I was able to complete before completion time on the Sprint 1 build test. Popping that open, and I'll just get rid of Perforce there for quick switching of applications. So, I'm going to open the boss fight. And I'm doing that because that is what I worked on in the last milestone, and I'm using this milestone to refine that a bit. So I'm looking to refine the boss fight. It's the final combat situation that's going to test the player's knowledge on our combat skills. So I'm looking to refine that a bit to make it a better experience. So as of right now, from the previous build, there were bugs with it that I'm looking to fix. So we have the rock troll pursues the player after each attack. The reason that is, let's get in here, let's kick this boss fight off. The reason that is, we had an issue here where in his melee and AoE attack phase, if you were to initiate the attack and end up behind him, he would not pursue. Well, now he pursues, as well as pursuing if you are in the acceptance radius of the AI move to. For some reason that would break it, but he still comes for you now, which is great. So like I said, he is in 3 phases. So this reflects fourths. That's something that I do want to fix and have it reflect thirds, to have it be segmented into thirds. So at his 3 out of 3 health, that's 100% health, he does 1 phase. At 2 out of 3 health, he does another phase, and at 1 out of 3 health, he does his final phase. So if you see the completion criteria here, it says after each attack. That kind of needs to be worded, because if you want to do the make a peanut butter sandwich from instructions only and be super specific, this would not be struck through. It wouldn't be complete, because the kamikaze attack from his 3rd phase, the player does not pursue, the boss does not pursue after that attack because he dies. So anyhow, with that one caveat, each attack. So I need to progress to the next one just to show that that bug is fixed as well. Right there, we've seen that wild swing. That's something that needs to be worked on. I do have that here. The rock troll cannot be moved by player attack or the character pushing them. So that is something that I'm aware of and that I'm looking to fix, in this milestone. So he's coming back for me, but when he reaches me now, we get the second piece of work I was able to complete, visualized there. So there's a visual effects indication of the damage radius before the rock troll's AoE attack. That was something that we seen in playtests and feedback and suggestions, that it would be nice to know where I am safe. The same bug that we had on the melee attack of being behind the player or within the troll's acceptance radius for his move to would cause that bug. And so if I go back behind him for the AoE, he'll still come my way now. So that was a welcome fix for that. Pausing there. You see, I still have a bit more to do for this piece of work that I am touching on, and there is another in the pipeline as well. So yeah, thanks for checking out my work here. And if you stick with us and stay tuned, you'll get to check out the work that Fink has taken care of on our combat system. All right, thanks for stopping by.
Hey everybody, my name is Daniel Fink. I am a programmer for this milestone for Team Ragamuffin. I would like to apologize if you cannot hear me very well. I'm quite a bit under the weather, so if you hear me cough and sneeze during this, I'm hoping to do it all in one take. So let's go ahead and try to show what I've been doing. Let's go ahead and bring up So the latest things, I'm reworking combat this sprint. Now, I would hope to, at some point, have a video playing either above mine of a video of our older combat style, just a playthrough, so you can see the changes that have been made. I decided to completely overhaul the combat system. My whole story was based on overhauling that combat system, and all my completion criteria or subtasks of a checklist for myself as I was getting these done. So the last thing I did was, as the dash, I want a sword swipe animation to dictate that I'm using the ability. Now, since I kind of do it in about 4 blocks per, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the last 4 instead of just the 1. As a player, I want to chain attacks as a combo, so I did add a combat system. As the player, I want to activate dash feature when I use the space button. As a dash, I want a sword swipe animation, right? And then when I dash, I want to damage enemies. Okay. So that's what we're going to look at. So let's go ahead and bring up my EXE for the capstone EXE. I actually have to, boom, there we go. Alright, we're just going to start off the beginning level. Alright, gives you a little overview of the controls. And I'll press F to continue. Goes to the loading screen. Okay, I am actually going to tab out of that real quick while it's still up and bring up. With me being under the weather, like, I immediately lost train of thought. So I want to chain attacks in a combo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So you know it doesn't play, just continues, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and bring my character back here. 1, 2, so, and then it stops. And then it goes back to the original. Okay. Sorry. And then I want to activate a dash feature when I use the space button. So I'm pressing space. Normally I'd have a camera on my hands too, but I do a dash, which I got locked out of that room. As a dash, I want to add a sword swipe animation to dictate that I'm using that ability. So as we watch it, I do swipe out. Okay. I'm going to back up, play it one more time. So you can see it twice, it does work. And then as the player, when I'm dashing, I want to damage enemies I go through or hit. Okay. So we got one enemy here. I did do dash, and I did do half health on him. And I killed him with a normal attack. There's another enemy right here. I'm going to see if I can bring him out. And I'm going to dash into him, which does do the damage. Now, hopefully, this is all the stuff that I've been working on so far. I've completed a lot more prior, but of course they asked for the most recent. So with me being doing combat, I'm kind of gonna pick and choose when these sprint reviews go through. So I'm gonna see if I can try to put some older combat in a video picture-in-picture with the newer combat, so you can tell how much it has changed. But again, my name is Daniel Fink. I am the programmer for this sprint for Team Ragamuffin. Thank you. Let's go to exit before I sneeze, y'all. Exit game.
Hello, my name is Stephen Fedor, and I'm on Team Ragamuffin. Today, I'm going to show you what I've been working on. The task that I've been assigned was to create an intermediate level. So this task is RG270. As a player, I want a level to practice the mechanics shown in the previous level and use them to survive and complete the level. The description is quite long, but the intermediate level will help the player understand the combat system a little bit more by practicing hitting more enemies, blocking attacks, and using the abilities you have learned in the previous level. Having the player practice getting pickups will give the player the understanding that to complete the game they must collect and manage the items, then they don't die constantly. Having the player use their knowledge on the combat systems and the player will hit destructible objects to gain gold and mana potions. The player will engage enemies that vary in difficulty by utilizing what they have learned and practice timing and utilizing abilities to progress. Having hazards will keep the player or will help the player practice avoiding and timing, then they don't die to said hazards. The doors will vary in difficulty, mainly having key doors as a blockade of the players, and the player must practice searching for keys to progress. This level will be used to let the player practice what they have learned from the introduction level. The completion criteria has many different objects, but I'm going to show you the build. The build we're doing today is 983798.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm level 2 because it goes introduction, practice, and then mastery. So level 2. What I have worked on is the level layout. So when we go to here, level has to have enemies placed in the map. I haven't done that. Levels, destructible items. I have placed some in the introduction area of this level. No keys, no doors. Let's see what I have. So I have the destructible items. I have completed the level research and development by researching different types of dungeons as well as layouts. Players should be able to navigate through the level to reach the end portal. I haven't placed the end portal, but we can navigate through all the level. I don't have healing items, but I do have refuges. I do have mana potions placed in, not in the refuges. I do have some gold coins, and the level does have jump pads, does have 2 refuges. Um, it does have some valves and at least 1 gate. So I'm going to showcase that. The build is pushing me super far away. I have to adjust the distance, but I do have mana potions, some gold coins. I do have some destructible objects. Destroy those pots. Crates. So for the valve, you can see I can't go back to the previous room. This is the first refuge that's going to have some hazards and then some pillars. This is going to be my healing area. You can't see it right now because of the camera, but there's going to be a pillar up here. And on this side, I'm going to have a treasure room. which is hard to see, but it's similar as the other area. But there's going to be another pillar up here with some treasure, so it's going to be placed with gold, and potentially some hazards up here. There's not going to be much enemies in here because the next area right here is going to have enemies and some hazards. I did place a bridge in here to be able to have the player as a gate, because they'll fight enemies until they're done with the enemies. They're not going to be able to succeed opening that fridge or the bridge. I guess I do have a end portal. I think I forgot that I put that there. But little refuge. There's going to be some gold treasure. Some of the pillars leading into the next room for the rune. Up here is going to be another pillar. The final door is going to have. This is going to be a gate where they have to turn on all the pillars in the right sequential order, and this will open up, and their portal will be here. So this has multiple different areas for the pillars and where I can place enemies. But yeah, there we go. Let's just go through the portal. I got injured. Just want to show you that it works. And we're gonna have interactable items in here as well. And it's gonna make it there. So yeah, it brings you to the next level.
Hello, my name is Lucas Guevara with Team Ragamuffin, and today I'm going to be showcasing what I'll be working on during the sprint and what I have been working on. Here inside of Perforce, inside of the Team Ragamuffin game folder, we have the Ragamuffin_capstone, which brings us to our build. We're doing build number 68 out of 68, or the revision number is going to be 983798. If I open that here, we can start our game. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this down a little bit. And then I can go to level select to level 3. So here is what I was working on. Let me go ahead and Alt Tab to bring up the good old task. So here I'm working on the mastery level, or the 3rd level inside of our area, the level just before the boss fight. Here we just have a little bit of the completion criteria stating what will be inside each of the rooms. So the start room, the introductory room, rest areas. Oh, this key goes to the introductory. The rest areas here. Practice and intermediate room, or practice and intermediate room. Rest area 2, and then the mastery room. Basic level completion criteria here, like level does have rest areas. Level is more challenging to the player, to combat enemies, more challenging than the last level, and just simple level layout stuff inside of completion criteria here. Going back to the build. So this is what I worked on. The start area is in a circular type room. Breaking some of these crates, and we'll be able to reveal the key. These crates here, because gold now ties in with us respawning. Open that door here. Make our way through. There's no enemies currently, just crates, basic layout of the explosives to try to get the enemies to run into those. Pillar here so the enemies can't just run straight to you, so they do kind of have to move around and maneuver around that, giving them or making them stay inside of the radius a little bit longer. Here, I think this choke point, you won't be able to stand here without getting damage. Oh no, you can. So the enemies will have to run through these very tight corners here, giving you ample opportunity to damage them with the explosives. Same premise with both of these here. traps or activated psych traps here to make it so you can't just go stand here and be willy-nilly with it. See, I got just a little bit. Breaking up more of these crates, we get our key to go to the next area. To the rest area 1. These here, kind of passing time, avoiding these rotating blades to get to our first our first BAL. Went through down this way. You have a room where you will have a little bit more enemies. So in this area here, you will have quite a few enemies. This is kind of where I stopped with the setup of the destructibles and explosives. I'm going to be working on this here later today. But working on over this way, turning on all of these. Hopefully I can actually double check. I feel like I missed this one. No, I did turn that one on. Okay, cool. Make our way down here. Turn on all 4 of these, while also trying to avoid enemies, running into explosive barrels and whatnot, to unlock the rune door, or the fire altar door, rather. Sorry. I do want to replace this with a rune door, made by Nicholas Jackson here in our team, where you have runes that you have to match up with certain pillars that can rotate, and then they allow you to unlock a door. Now that those are all on, I can open this and continue to the mastery area, or the end area of my level. I didn't activate that all the way. It's fine. So here I just have basic text telling you what's going to happen here at the end. When you walk into this area, or the center area here, you'll have enemies that will spawn in each of these rooms. I do need to make these smaller. These are way too big. But enemies will spawn in each of these rooms, push out, and attack you in this middle area. When you defeat the ones on the right, the ones to the left will spawn, or the door on the left will open, allowing the enemies on the left to come out. And then same thing after you defeat the left, the bottom will open, allowing enemies to come out. And then after all that, a door here that was blocking the level end portal will open, allowing you to leave. So there's the level 3 inside of our bed.
Hi there, my name is Nicholas Jackson. I'm with Team Ragamuffin, and we're going to be opening our project with our capstone EXE from the build. This is number 68 out of 68. So we're using change list 983798. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Got our nice little splash screen here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me just make sure you can hear me better. Turn a couple of these things down real quick.
Leave and come back when you have more gold.
All right, so for my latest task that I was working on was RG258. So this is a task for our pause menu refinement. So as the pause menu, I want to have access to the how to play section of the game so that I can inform the player of which buttons do what, just in case they forget. The pause menu will have the newly created how to play section available in case the player needs a refresher on the controls. Display the how to play controls when the option is selected, and then have a back button to return to the main pause menu. All right, so let's go ahead and look in here how that's going to work. So as you can see on the main menu here, I already have a how to play section. So we have this little menu here. Brings us back here. So when I click start game, I actually thought it'd be nice just to give the players the controls before they actually jumped into the game. So this kind of gives you a moment to familiarize yourself with them, read them. We're gonna just go ahead and continue that. So if I'm going, I'm like, hey, I don't remember what button block or my ranged attack, what, something is. I can go ahead and hit the escape up here. That's gonna go right here, pause everything. I have these different options, so I can continue playing, restart the level, I can adjust options. I can quit and go back to the main menu. So we have how to play in here. So this is the newest one that I just added for for this project while working on this particular task. So when I click on it, you see it's got that same screen that's going to pop up here. So it's telling you exactly which button. So my yellow here. So everything's kind of color coordinated. Melee attack, shield block, my ranged attack, which is shift. Pause menu is escape. So I do plan. I haven't gotten them on there yet, but I do plan to actually just update this with like the actual keys. So right now it's just a general keyboard layout, but I do plan to make like the actual keys in there. So it's a little bit easier to read exactly which key if you're for some reason not as familiar with the keyboard at this point. Maybe you don't really play a lot of computer games. We do have actual full controller support at the moment. We just haven't implemented it into any of the menus and stuff yet. That's definitely something wanting to add for later. So just to show that this is ready to go, so I can come in here, take a look. I can see melee, shield block. Now I got my back button. Once you're comfortable with controls, I can go back. Then I can go right back into playing, using my abilities and so on. So that lets me know, okay, I know how to use all this stuff here. Oh, I forgot. How do I do that again? So let me come into here. How to play. Boom. So that's really nice. Again, we have it in the main menu, and then we have it whenever you select start game. So that's all I've really got to showcase for right now. Hopefully you enjoyed, and Dawson's going to take it on over from here.
Hi, my name is Dawson Majors with Team Ragamuffin. This is my Sprint 1 build test. So my issue is RG269. This is the one I've been most recently working on. So as the player, I want to be introduced to all the core concepts of the game so I can learn how to play the game. This comes with some completion criteria. So the level has to have a definitive layout. At the end of the level, the player walks through a portal and leads to the next level. When the player runs out of gold for reviving and dies, they lose the game. The level introduces these two enemy types to the player. The level introduces the player to these combat system mechanics. The level introduces the player to these destructible objects. The level introduces the player to these pickups. The level introduces players to these locked doors. The level introduces the player to these hazards. So that is my completion criteria for issue RG269. So the build we'll be using is ragamuffin_capstone.exe, 68 out of 68, or change list 983798. Let's hop right into it. So if we go here and go to level select and level 1, this is my level. So to start off, what I've been really working on is a definitive level layout. It is not at a definitive level layout at the moment. All of it is still kind of subject to change to better fit my completion criteria, or to better fit, what a good design would be for the level to teach the player. So I do have some collectibles and destructibles in the game, and I do introduce the player to two types of enemies, which is the mummy and the spider enemies. So those green guys were the mummy enemies, and we'll see the spider enemies here in just a second. So these spider enemies behind the box is the second enemy type I wanted to introduce the player to. So if we go through that room that we fought the mummy enemies at, was the first room. And this is my first refuge room. And then we go down in here, and this is room 2. As you can see, whenever I walk through, the mummy enemies will spawn. And you have to fight them. Right now, you can just get the key and kind of skip over the level, but whenever I'm making it to whenever you kill all the mummies in that room, it spawns a key. So now leading to our next small rest area. This is rest area 2 with potions and health. And then this is room 3 where the player is taught destructible barrels and how to use them. Like I said, all of these, all of the design kind of layout is subject to change and could change and probably will change in the future. So the level layout is not definitive at this moment in time. But I do have some combat situations, some collectibles and destructibles in the game. This is Rest Area 3, where it teaches you how to do the Beast Mode potion. Go here. And we go right here. Defeat these enemies, and then as you can see, we do have a portal at the end of the level in this last room, or room 4, and this is how the level ends. And it transfers over to the next level. So to mainly reiterate on what I've been working on is my level layout, my wind condition, my loss condition, some combat, some collectibles, destructibles, and mainly kind of trying to how to introduce the player to certain aspects of our core components and core mechanics of the game. Thank you again. This was Dawson Majors with Team Ragamuffin, and my issue is RG269. All right.
Hi, my name's Isabel Wilson. I'm a part of Team Ragamuffin, and I'm just going to be doing my video for the Build 1 submission. So let's get into it. I know that mine is a part of level 3. Okay, so the last thing that I worked on that actually was put into a level was the, as an updated delayed spike trap, I want a shorter delay time for a higher risk of damage, and I want my visual script and BP delayed spikes to be reorganized for maximum efficiency. And this is a task type of issue, so I didn't fully form it in the same way I would a user story, but most of it is pretty similar. So basically just says, when stepped on, the spike trap should activate faster to cause a higher risk of damage/death for the player. Additionally, the blueprint is going to be reviewed to ensure that everything is as organized and efficiently programmed as possible, and my completion criteria is as follows. After sufficient testing, shorten the delay timer on the spike trap to activate the hazard as soon as the player should step off of it if constantly moving. And then reorganize BP delayed spikes if necessary, and then condense BP delayed spikes to use fewer nodes if necessary / possible. So we're just going to show the first one since I'm not going to be able to really review the reorganization and efficiency of the blueprint itself. So we're just going to make sure that the delayed spike trap works faster than it did, because but right before I adjusted everything, it took about a full 3 seconds to activate and deactivate the spike trap. And now it goes much faster, as you can see. If I were to sit here, I actually adjusted it not to go right after the player steps off, in case the player wanted to use it in strategy during combat. I thought that this timing would be best for the use of the player and would still cause some bit of urgency to get off as soon as possible. So Right, so that was the task that I was most recently working on. Thank you so much.